This is a video where we're going to talk about our decision on carrying the insurance and why we decided to. Guys, most of the place where we do most of our business is the state of Maryland, and Maryland just recently switched over to a shell issue state. So we got a lot of stuff to unpack here for you guys who are new to being self-protector. If you're just getting into 2A or Second Amendment content, you really should understand things a little bit more. The things that we talked about in the past on this channel is completely different. We talked more about faith, and it was kind of alternative to Christian faith is what we talked about for years on this channel. My wife and I ran a business where we helped people who were struggling with situations where they were dealing with spiritual confrontations and things of that nature. Some of these confrontations were things that even a lot of Christians found very hard to work with. So we come from a background where we aren't really afraid to kind of run towards danger, if that makes sense. So the idea of us looking into concealed carry and deciding to defend ourselves was not new to us. We are comfortable confronting unseen threats. We're comfortable dealing with the spiritual realm. When you decide to make the decision to conceal carry a weapon on your person, on your body or in a bag that's closely connected to your body, you're deciding to take on a number of fights. So let's just walk you through this, and then maybe at the end of this video, you'll understand why carrying some kind of insurance like what is offered by the United States Concealed Carry Association, USCCA, why it's so important. Second call, even attorneys on retainer. I understand out there, guys, there's this huge battle between all three or four of these big companies, between the insurance companies and the attorney companies, because at the end of the day, they're all companies, right? I know that there's this big thing saying don't carry insurance. In reality, many of you guys are forced to carry some type of insurance. Liability insurance for driving a car. If you're in business, you carry liability insurance. So I know that that's a tactic by some companies out there to say, hey, insurance isn't your buddy. Insurance companies are going to cover their ass as well, right? If you use your insurance improperly, they're going to find ways to get out of protecting you because you are a liability to them. So one of the reasons why we like USCCA is because they have so much training, right? Coming into this, I didn't realize there's so much information out there, so many different techniques, so many different ways to carry yourself mentally, physically, how to deal with police during the encounter and after the encounter, how to speak with your lawyer, how to select your lawyer. All these things are so important. So we're gonna try to break this down and try to explain to you why carrying insurance or even working with a company full of lawyers is a good idea for someone who decides to take their protection upon themselves and not wait around for police to get there. We do live in a world where police are underpaid, overworked, and they're spread very, very thin. The county where my wife and I reside, it seems like there's police sirens more and more every night. Things are getting more dangerous out there. As inflation gets worse and people get more desperate, there's going to be a greater need for you to consider the idea of protecting yourself. When these calls go out, police are often sent to the call, and in many cases, not just one squad car, several. Well, if you send several police officers to look at a robbery, that leaves you unprotected in your home. That leaves you unprotected as you're making your way down the street toward Metro or whatever means of transportation you have. That leaves you unprotected when you're getting groceries or getting gas at a gas station at night. So that in and of itself tells you that you have a decision to make. You're an American. You're watching this likely in America. And as an American, you do have the right to bear arms. In fact, a large swath of America, like right down the middle, you guys call that the Bible Belt if you look on the screen. And credit to USCCA for having that wonderful graphic that we have there, because that graphic actually shows you where you can and can't carry. These guys have brushed up against police on several occasions and have had no choice but to learn the way the justice system works. So let's break this down. Let's say that you are on your way to get gas and you get a strange feeling, but you ignore that feeling because many people are thinking about bills, they're thinking about loved ones, they're thinking about the soreness inside their back. So they don't hear the spiritual aspect of someone saying, hey, it's 10:30 at night, it's 11:30 at night, Maybe you should wait to get gas in the morning. Sure, you have to leave a bit early. Maybe you got to get up at 6:30 instead of 7:30 so you can go get gas at the crack of dawn. But you decide to go get it at 11:30 at night, and you go to that gas station. You're the only person at that gas station. You're not paying attention. Maybe you're looking at your cell phone, and someone walks up behind you. This guy has a weapon on him, and he's demanding your money, demanding your keys. Well, what is he doing? He's threatening to take your life. And now you have a decision to make. Either you give him the keys or you run the other way. In many states, you actually have a duty to retreat if you can. Here's the key though. In states like Maryland, the duty to retreat is if that particular area where you would retreat is known to you, right? If you have a field of like corn behind you and you don't know where or how to get in and around that field, that duty to retreat is rescinded. So these things get very, very complicated. No one's asking you to be a lawyer, but at the end of the day, if you pull out a weapon, let's say that you did have a weapon on you. Let's say that you actually saw his weapon and you were able to get your weapon on that guy and you actually fired and perhaps you killed this individual who was seconds away from taking your money or killing you, right? Now you have to deal with, you've survived that first battle. The second battle comes in. Now it's who can call 911 first. What if you made the almost fatal mistake of getting in your car and leaving the person there bleeding out and driving home? And completely forgetting to call 911. Well, you know what happens now? If somebody was pulling into that gas station, if someone was driving by that gas station at night and they saw you, they saw the make and model of your car, they were able to describe you, they're going to think you're the bad guy, right? What if the gas station attendant saw what happened and decided to call 911 and call it in? You can't just deploy these weapons in self-defense and not make a call to 911. In fact, many self-defenders and many instructors will tell you win the race to 911. When you call 911 and you tell the dispatchers everything and you explain everything to them, that's going to start a paper trail. And that paper trail starts to add up. At the end of the day, once you win that race, once you start that paper trail, now you've established that you are the good guy. So you see where this is going here, right? If you fail to follow these particular steps in sync, that starts to weaken your case against the police. Even if you were going to defend yourself, which even lawyers don't recommend, by the way. You can ask any lawyer. If you guys have lawyer friends out there, if you guys are a member of another organization, if you carry other types of insurance out there, they're going to tell you the very same thing. In fact, the USCCA actually gives you a little membership card. It tells you what to say to police and how to carry yourself after you've used your weapon to defend yourself, right? If you don't call 911 first, if you do survive, let's say you did see it coming and you did shoot him, if you don't call 911, now what if he had 2 or 3 friends who were in the car off in the shadows watching you and they called 911? Through the training I've taken with USCCA, they have said that exact thing, that these career criminals, these guys who have been in contact with police through in and out of jail, they know how the system works. They know that if they get to the police first, they can actually start to build a case against you. These are the reasons why I decided, again, my wife and I decided to go with the USCCA, because they provide the proper training. They get you to understand how the system works and how to make sure that you are doing everything you can to defend yourself after the initial deadly engagement, after that gunfight is over, right? What should you say when you make that phone call? Well, from what I understand with the USCCA and many lawyers out there, you don't want to tell them that you shot anyone. You don't want to sit on that phone and say, hey, I shot the person, the motherfucker was trying to kill me, right? The guy, oh my gosh, he came out of nowhere and I had to shoot the son of a bitch. You don't want to say those kind of things, because those kind of things can be used against you. When you call 911, what is 911? 911 is a recorded line, guys. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. This is again why it's so important that the insurance companies that you work with, the attorney companies that you work with, they need to be schooling you on these things, because if they aren't schooling you on those things, they aren't preparing you for success for when you need it, right? One of the things that the lawyer companies have been saying, attorneys on retainer, if I'm not mistaken, they've been saying that, oh, USCCA has been dropping people who get convicted. Well, if you don't follow the training, it seems to me that they're not going to protect you when you need it, right? When you work for a company, there's something called a SOP, standard operating procedures, right? they ask you to follow these particular regiments, to work with equipment, to work with customers. There's a reason why they have a procedure, because that procedure is proven, it's tested, and most of all, it falls within the lines of their insurance. They can only insure you when you work at a job if you follow the standard operating procedures, right? So I don't see it as a negative. I see it as a positive, where these guys are saying, hey, here's the training, take some time, take these training, follow these rules, and we will protect you. So winning the race to 911 is that important. If any of you guys have taken your concealed weapon classes, you have likely been told that time and time again. In Maryland, where we operate most of the time, it's a 16-hour course. 16 hours, guys, of being told the various different ways that you ought to operate. And in Maryland, that course is put together by the Attorney General themselves. I can't speak for other states. I don't know how thorough or how weak some of their things are, but I can say in Maryland, they're pretty damn thorough about this, because they want to make sure you know what you're doing when you go to use that weapon. So I just wanted to give some perspective, because I feel like, you know, there's a lot of guys in these comments that have been looking on other videos. They just get way ahead of themselves and they're saying things that don't make sense. I think there was one case, I'll put it down below, where a lady shot her husband through a door. In our state, you can't shoot through a door. We have the duty to retreat. So if someone's banging on your door and they haven't yet got through that door, you're not defending yourself yet. You can't even identify the threat. Yes, you might say, oh, well, she knows her husband's voice. Okay, she knows her husband's banging on the door. The door hasn't failed yet. I think there was another case. I'll put it down below once I get the details down there for you. Another female shot her husband as he was opening her door at Walmart. The door hadn't failed yet. Like, it's just weird to hear these things about, oh, the insurance company is dropping people. The insurance company is not taking their oath properly when you need it most. They aren't following the training. They aren't following the standard operating procedures based off the contract that you entered into. So they can't insure you, and they just like your job will have to drop you. If you work in an amusement park and somebody gets hurt because you didn't follow the SOP, they're going to fire you because they don't want to get sued. It's really cut and dry when you look at it. But to continue where we are from here, this is again why it's so important to win the race at 911 and get that actual paper trail started, so you can explain to the officers who you are, possibly what you're wearing, and really nothing else from there. Because again, that is a recorded line, so you're going to be going through a tremendous amount of stress. There are going to be situations where you're going to want to. I believe during the training, they talked about it being a stressful utterance, where people are just saying the first thing that pops into their head, like, oh my gosh, you know, I knew I shouldn't have been out here at this day and time. If only that guy didn't come up. Like, all those kind of things that you're uttering and breathing out, you need to just suppress that. If you know that you can't suppress it, just put the phone down. You can literally just sit the phone down. You can actually hang up after you've told the officers where you are. They're going to tell you that you want an officer there. On the card, they say basically tell the officer that you want. Tell the dispatcher that you need officers and emergency medical technicians to this location. After you've basically told them that you're the victim of a crime, you had to defend yourself, please send EMTs, please send police officers, perhaps even a police supervisor to my location. That's it. That's all they need to know. You don't need to get into how many times they were shot. You don't need to get into how many weapons you have on you. You don't need to get into, you know, describing anyone that you see in or around them. Let the police get to that location. Because why? There's multiple reasons why, but one of the most pressing ones is you don't know if that scene is secure yet. You don't know if that guy has 3 or 4 friends who are around the corner. So you don't have the time or the luxury to be splitting your attention between holding the phone on speaker and like trying to look around, trying to figure out where you are. Another reason for that is, what if you have your gun out now and someone else sees you and they see you standing over this guy with a smoking gun? What if he fires on you because he assumes that you harmed the guy on the bottom who's down there now bleeding out? There's so many reasons why you should put your weapon away and get to a safe space. Once the police get there, same thing, follow their instructions. It's not going to go like you see in movies. They're not going to pat you in the back. They're not going to go and get you a damn hamburger. And in many cases, they're going to treat you like you're a criminal because they don't know who you are. Even though you call 911, and you hopefully explain to them who you are and what happened, they still need to do the investigation. They still need to secure the scene. So they're probably going to throw you down to the ground in the most aggressive way. They're probably going to use horrible choice words until they can figure out what's happening, right? Another thing you need to understand is that it's highly likely that you will not be seeing your weapon for a long time. The USCCA does offer funds to replace your weapon because it's going to be in evidence for a long time. I think I saw in one of the videos there was a guy who actually survived being shot 15 times with a 45 caliber rounds, and he didn't get his weapon back for, I believe it was 6 months to a year. And he had just gotten it back 2 weeks before he even did the interview. So just know that, these weapons can get quite pricey. I've seen some weapons on in $5,000 or more. So the fact that they offer the ability to have that weapon replaced while your original one is in custody, in evidence, it makes sense. That's something that you will likely still want to be able to defend yourself. Now, whether or not you are going to be placed on bond and whether or not you're going to have a situation where you're going to be ordered not to possess firearms, that's a total different thing, and it depends on your territory and stuff like that. But it's just something to keep aware when you're trying to weigh your thoughts and figure out why you would go with one insurance carrier or go with an attorney company or however you want to make your decision. When you're being questioned, right? We already talked about being on the phone with 911 and having them try to throw questions at you because, again, they're in the middle of their investigation and they're trying to get as much information they can to the police officers. I told you I'm not a lawyer at all, but I'm telling you from what I've been trained and from what I've been learning, the idea of putting that phone down makes sense because let's say someone else walks up that comes from that group and he's mad at you because he saw the very end of what you did to his friend while you were defending yourself. Now you have a recorded line that recorded that second encounter as well. So these are things to keep in mind. When the police get there, they always tell you don't talk to the police. A lot of the lawyers will tell you don't talk to the police. Now, they're going to be very, very forceful with you. I mean, they're going to be saying all kind of things to try to pry out of you something that they can put down because these guys all flew there as fast as they can get there. And their idea is that they want to get an arrest for something, right? They want to be able to put something down. They need something solid to go in those lines. They have to generate a report. So they're not going to handle you with kid gloves. They're going to try to make you say something, right? You kind of need to be like a broken record in a way. In fact, if you can, be as nice as you can and basically say, hey guys, I will cooperate 100%. Once my attorney's present. I will cooperate 100% once my attorney's present. I will cooperate 100% once my attorney is present. That's it. That's all you have to say. You can't let them break you. Don't let them trick you. Don't let them tell you how easy something would be. Don't let them try to use fear because your heart's going to be racing. Adrenaline is going to still probably be burning in your chest and veins and things. You're probably going to be shaking and you could be crying. It all depends. But they're going to use all of that against you because they just want to get a good report. They want to find out what you did. They want to know that they want to make you say it so they can just put it in the line, and the information is going to go straight to the state prosecutor. So that's why I'm saying that there's multiple battles that happen, right? Just surviving that gunfight or that initial encounter is just the beginning. There's a whole shitstorm that comes along with this, and you can be putting your family through hell too, from what I understand, with all of the training that they've been explaining. It's going to be hard to go to work the next day. You're going to need bail. A company like USCCA helps with that. And some of these other companies, they help with that. The attorney companies, they also help with bail as well. But now you've got to worry about what is your job going to think, because now you've been involved in a violent crime. Whether they think you're the victim or not, that's going to be up to the prosecutors to figure that out, and up to your defense team to kind of hash that out. So you really got to be really, really thorough in this. And all of that became a part of our decision when we decided to join this company, because they offered the training, they offered the de-escalation training. That is the main thing, to explain that going for that weapon should be the absolute last resort. You should have exhausted every avenue that you can before you actually pull that thing, because again, there's going to be multiple battles after that, right? Do you have the energy? Do you have the stamina? Do you have the mental capacity to deal with trying to defend yourself at every turn? That the physical part is over, but now the mental games start, right? These officers could have you face down. I've seen it. I'll try to reference that one down below. There was one guy who was literally face down in the back of a police vehicle for 30 minutes on a police vehicle seat where all kind of asses had been in it from all over the state for who knows how many days since they washed that seat. And he's just there sweating while these guys are taking his car apart, all because he got pulled over and he admitted to them that he had a concealed weapon. So it's kind of a mixed bag on who you get. I know that many of you guys were raised to hear that, oh, police are the good guys. And on mass, you know, we would like to think that they're good guys, but there are many, many bad apples out there who do terrible things to people. And you being thrown on the back seat of a car, not knowing what's going on, not knowing, you know, if they're going to let you out, that can mess with you, especially if you're already breathing hard and things like that. So keep that in mind, that you don't have to go through any of this if you just leave that thing in the holster and just get the hell out of there, right? No one's asking you to be John Wick. You know, no one's asking you to be RoboCop, right? Like, no one's saying you need to pull this thing out and use it unless you absolutely have to. And the thing about that is that once this is all said and done, and you get your lawyer and you decide because with USCCA, you can pick pretty much any lawyer that you want. They are said to be able to have the capacity to just overnight the lawyer check. The idea is you want them to see that you've said nothing to the police other than that you are going to cooperate once the lawyer arrives, and that you have a good and defendable case. So if you did your best, if you tried to keep fleeing this person, if you tried to get away from them as much as possible, and it was shown to others that around you that you were forced to do it, it's just going to make it a little bit easier on the end battle, when that lawyer is fighting for you, when that lawyer is fighting for your rights and fighting for your freedom. It makes things a lot easier if you did everything right, if you followed the training. In that heated moment, it's so easy to make a mistake. You know, you're going to have flaring tempers. Everyone has one, right? Some of us may deal with anger more than others, and some of us may know how to suppress it more than others, but having that weapon on you changes the game, right? You're not even supposed to even get into arguments, right? In most of the training I've absorbed and watched over these hours of training videos I've been looking at on the training portal, I've seen it where instructors, like literal instructors, have told you, hey, if there's a fight happening and you have your weapon on you, just leave. Like, literally get up, leave. There's no reason for you to stick around. Why would you want to go through these other battles with the police when you could have just got up and left? It gets to the point where you really have to look at stuff a little bit differently. Realize that you have a different set of risks now, right? Yes, sure, you can protect your life from a criminal, but you might lose it in shooting someone incorrectly, and that is a whole different way of looking at things. I feel like many people who have been looking at some of our newer content, they think that oh, you can be this badass John Wick, Snake Plissken kind of guy that's just kicking ass and mowing people down, and that's not the way it works. No one is saying be a vigilante. In fact, from some of the training I've been absorbing on their website, just even today in me doing my research, lawyers, they get uncomfortable with you even having cartoon decals on your weapon, because again, they'll use anything against you. What do you think is going to happen in that hypothetical situation where you went to that gas station at 11:30 p.m. and this guy pulled a weapon on you, and let's say you shot and killed him? If you got a damn Punisher logo on the grip of your gun, they're going to use that against you. I've seen personally with family where he was actually a child. He had a Naruto knife in his bag in school. They reached back into his records and found out that he had a Naruto knife and used that to say he had a violent crime, a violent history. These prosecutors are ruthless. For them, it's a competition. They want to win just as much as a guy wants to score a touchdown. And sometimes they'll do some things that are, I wouldn't say illegal. Obviously, it's legal for them to go through a child's school records. But the thing is it really honorable? It's a cartoon. And the thing is that cartoon is based off of ninja tools, which are farming tools. So it's really nothing violent about it. The only thing that was violent is that they used the word knife. So now it's a weapon now because the word is knife is written in there, but the knife is just a cutting edge that again is used on a farm. So you want to just steer clear of that. A lot of the lawyers, they'll tell you don't have any crazy cartoons, especially not Punisher logo things. Don't have it on your magazine. Don't have it on the grip of your weapon. Don't even have it in the car. They're going to use all that crap against you. And I wouldn't even have known that if it wasn't for the training that USCCA had put out there. So I'm telling you from personal experience, like I've had that happen to a family member about that toy, and I know that they'll do it. And the fact that the lawyer even brought that up to me, just it told me that this is real stuff here. Like these guys are not bullshit, and they understand how the system works, and they're feeding it to you. It's up to you whether you're going to absorb it, right? Because you know, is one thing to just hear it and let it go right out the other ear. I'm getting on the camera and telling you about it. I'm telling you that how great this experience has been, and that they're technically training me to deal with these kind of situations. So if you are someone who wants to join the USCCA and you understand what I'm saying, our affiliate code is down below. I would urge you to strongly consider joining. If you do join up on that link, I do get a couple things that help me continue to do this. In fact, it actually helps me provide giveaways for more 2A content and things like this. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. I welcome you to subscribe. We're going to be talking a lot about 2A content here, and we're going to be getting more into the mental aspect. I like the direction that my wife is going, trying to get people ready for how the mental battle starts, because a lot of you guys want to get right into the physical aspect. You want to know how you guys want to know how to grip the weapon, the type of ammunition, the type of calibers that you have, the type of weapon and things like that. But a lot of this stuff starts in your head, and she's telling you that the de-escalation part starts in your head. So thanks for watching this. I would love to know your comments. Are you someone who is signed up with another company? I would love to hear why you chose them. Tell me about the training that you've received over there. Obviously, I'm not going to try every single company out there, so you may have some great training over there. Go ahead and put that down below. Get a conversation started, and let's all learn about this, because it's kind of what you don't know that can harm you. And I want to make sure everybody who's watching us gets all of the highest quality information that they can get. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.